I'm confident we will.
Congressional leaders projecting confidence that a 2-year budget deal will have enough votes to pass. But some lawmakers are holding their breath that President Trump will stay behind it.
We always hold our breath until something gets signed into law.
Trump tweeting Monday night that the bipartisan plan had no poison pills and was a real compromise in order to give another big victory to our great military and vets. But there was no mention of it in his rambling speech today at a conservative teen conference. The president's social media endorsement aimed at easing some concerns on Capitol Hill that he might back away from the deal at the last minute.
I think it's a deal that we'll get through. It isn't everything we hoped for, but it got through the debt ceiling.
The deal pushes off another fight over the budget and debt until after the 2020 election and authorizes $1.37 trillion in spending each year for the next 2 years. Republicans touting the $45 billion increase in military spending.
From a military point of view, it's much needed. It's the best I think we could do.
And Democrats satisfied with the $56 billion in non-defense spending increases. But nothing in the deal addresses the federal deficit, which is nearing $1 trillion.
Cutting spending around here is like going to heaven. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody's quite ready to take the trip.
Some conservatives not happy with the increased spending and ballooning deficit are already rejecting the compromise.
Do you like it? Are you going to vote for it?
I like it.
The other issue is on female genital mutilation and cutting. The Detroit case that actually, where the federal government lost the case because the law was 20 years old and et cetera, et cetera. I'd like to know, will you be able to make a statement against FGM because that's an issue in Detroit? It would be really powerful if the two Muslim congresswomen, yourself and Rashida, would make a statement on this issue.
Your second question is an appalling question because I always feel like there are bills that we vote on, bills we sponsor, many statements we put out, and then we're in a panel like this and the question is posed, could you and Rashida do this? And it's like, how often should I make a schedule? Like, does this need to be on repeat every 5 minutes? Should I be like, so today I forgot to condemn Al-Qaeda. So here's the Al-Qaeda one. Today I forgot to condemn FGM. So here it goes. Today I forgot to condemn Hamas. So here it goes. Today I forgot, you know what I mean? It is a very frustrating question. It comes up. You can look at my record. I voted 4 bills doing exactly what you're asking me to do. I have put out statements upon statements. There's a bill in Congress. There's a resolution that I am the co-author of that I voted out of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And so I am, I think, quite disgusted, really, to be honest, that as Muslim legislators, we are constantly being asked to waste our time is speaking to issues that other people are not asked to speak to because the assumption exists is that we somehow support and are for, right? No, there is an assumption. So I want to make sure that the next time someone is in an audience and is looking at me and Rashida and Abdul and Sam, that they ask us the proper questions that they will probably ask any member of Congress or any legislator or any politician, and would not come with an accusation that we might support something that is so abhorrent, so offensive, so evil, so vile.
Good Tuesday to you. Let's show you what's happening here with our latest tropical depression. This is TD3, our third storm into the Atlantic season. And of course, With it, if it were to be named, this would be our C-letter storm, Chantal. But at this point, the good news is the storm doesn't have what it takes to develop into a tropical storm, and still watching an area of unorganized thunderstorms, just a cluster of thunderstorms across the northwestern Bahamas, and stays just offshore of the east coast of Florida. So enough impacts potentially on the immediate coastline here, maybe some rough surge, and certainly going to have a few thunderstorms across the area. But notice as it tries to strengthen just a little bit going over the warm Gulf Stream there, we think it'll run out of room here to strengthen beyond the 35-mile-per-hour threshold. And of course, that keeps it just shy of what would be a tropical storm. But we do have a front to tell you about that skirts into this region, helping guide TD3 offshore. And that front will prompt in some stronger thunderstorms, potentially bring in much more rainfall than the tropical depression has in store across this region, but also provides a severe weather risk across parts of the Carolinas. So from Columbia eastward on into Wilmington, northward on into Raleigh, that's an area we're watching for this afternoon and this evening. Notice the complex of thunderstorms develop there into the evening and overnight hours. And also across portions of the Northeast, we've had plenty of wet weather in the past 24 hours. Still watching some areas of rainfall into at least parts of Tuesday across this region. Room temperature, that's what we're aiming for across New York City. Dallas climbs up to about 90 degrees, while a little farther towards the south, Montgomery, Alabama into the lower 80s. But another warming trend in store the next couple of days, but it looks like a far cry versus what we saw, of course, this past weekend across the Northeast, where temps were into the triple digits. So New York City expecting to climb up to the upper 80s as we approach this weekend. I'm Pedram Jabahari, CNN Weather.